Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crowning Moment. We have two very special people on here today. We're going to be welcoming the GC Pageant Group, which is truly, I think, the kings of the South and North Carolina USA pageants. Let's go ahead and have both of them into the chat for today. Hello.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're good. We're on vacation, so we're really good.
Excited to be here with you.
Yeah, this is awesome. Well, thank you for taking time from your vacation to do an episode with me. I want to dive deep into, what GC Pageants is and how you guys got started in the pageant groups for the USA systems and other systems that y'all help run pageants for too.
Perfect. So really, GC Pageants got started in probably 2015. So it's been a while, but Greg and I have both been involved with the Miss America organization for quite a while, and left that in 2005 when Erica Powell became Miss South Carolina and actually became a top 10 finalist at Miss America and was a Bernie Wayne Scholarship organization. We took some time off. We didn't think pageantry was for us anymore, and then got the bug again and reached out to Paula Miles and said, let's talk.
I actually started a year or 2 years prior with another friend, and then went through a year, and our young lady won, Rachel Law, who was Miss South Carolina USA. And then I quit, and then a year went by, and that's when we called Paula, and I said, Eddie, are you on board with Miss USA system? I really enjoyed it. It's a class act, and that's where we began. It was probably around 2011 or 12, actually, I think, maybe.
Who's counting?
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I want to talk about, the long stint you guys have had of very successful time with the Miss South Carolina USA organization. Tell us a little bit about who your title holders have been and what that's really meant to you with them going on to possibly even win, South Carolina and more.
Well, it's impossible to name them all because we do what we refer to as a mega pageant, where we have crowned anywhere from 3 Miss and 3 Teen to 6 Miss and 16 in South Carolina. And this year is our first year we're making history where we're opening up some North Carolina titles. So we're doing our 6 Teen and Miss South Carolina and 3 Miss and Teen North Carolina. So it's impossible to name them all. They're just all very unique, high achieving, classy ladies. And we have loved meeting each and every one of them. They have each meant something very special to us.
I will add this, most of the viewers will know in the teen program, we have had 2 South Carolina teens go on to be first runner-up to South Carolina Teen USA. So that's obviously extremely exciting to be in that moment. It's a little bit gut-wrenching at the same time, but those ladies are obviously very special to us and their families.
That's the one thing I want to ask you guys about is what does the preparation look like going to, any sort of pageant that you guys are sending your girls to? How do you prepare them for their competitions? That's something I know I've always looked up and seen the GC girls always killing it on stage and dominating interviews. So what do you guys do to really prepare them for competition?
You may actually be surprised. I think most people would be surprised, but we keep it very simple. We truly believe it is as much, if not more, definitely more emotional and mental than physical and tangible preparation. We try to make our preparation individual for each girl because each person has strengths and weaknesses. And the one thing that we always say is turn your weakness into your strength. Whatever it is that you feel like I just can't quite get to that point, that's what you win. If you're weak in interview, then you make it your goal to win interview. And we try to also instill in every young lady that the thought that, yes, this can happen to me. Yes, I can win. And I think that constant encouragement and visualizing yourself as a winner, turning weakness into a strength, I think all that is a big part of our preparation.
I'll add something really briefly to that too. When we get our winners, a lot of times we sit down and try to really match personalities. And so, he's like, hey, I think you really know her well. You've worked a lot with her. I know you feel like you may have a great relationship with that person. And that makes a difference. I will say this too, Casey, the thing that we do that's maybe unique is On the teen level, we include family and parents because we think obviously that's extremely important. But on the Miss level, it's me and you. And I mean, at that point, we've got to get a lot of barriers out of the way. And so that's what we do. But it makes a difference because we are yin and yang. We're, very different. And so I think that makes a difference when we start that prep because people get to know that.
One thing too that I will add is that we always start out by asking, do you want to win? Really, do you want to win, and why? Because a lot of people go after things in life. I've been guilty of it myself, not really knowing why I'm trying to achieve a certain goal. And it's not until you analyze your motives that I think you truly get what it is you've got to do to get to that next level. If why is so deeply embedded in your soul and your spirit and you're passionate about it, then you're going to push yourself harder. But you've got to be self-aware and you've got to know why it is. And do I really want this? Do I understand what it entails?
That's a good one, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I want to ask, did you ever have any girls that come into it and say, "No, I don't want to win. I just want to be here"? Have you ever had any of your girls actually say that?
I'm going to answer that because I'm probably like the tough one when it comes to that. And Casey, you competed, so you understand this. Obviously in South Carolina, USA, there's a top 15, 16, yes. I guess, with People's Choice. And when people come in and they're like, "Oh, I just want to be in the 15, or, I want to break the 10. I've never done that before." Then that's when, I go, I don't know how this is going to work, because I say this all the time. If you prepare to win, you'll end up in the 5. If you prepare for the 5, you'll end up in the 10. If you prepare for the 10, you'll end up in the 15. If you prepare for the 15, you're not going to do it. So you've got to prepare to win. And we've really, to answer the question, we've really not had that situation happen before. I mean, maybe instinctively we can see the actions that would be like, she's really not prepping for it. And we back off candidly. And then we know that, I'm not going to push you into something you're not comfortable with. But that's how we think about it. And I just had this long conversation with a bunch of young women in Arkansas last week. If you prepare to win, you're going to be a finalist. If you don't, if you prepare for the 15, you're not going to be in it.
And I will add to that, you've always got to prepare for the next level. You can't just say, I'm preparing to win a preliminary pageant. No, you've got to be in your mind, again, that visualization. I am going to be performing on the Miss America, the Miss USA, the Miss High School America stage, the Miss Volunteer stage, whatever. You've got to really think on a national level. And so many people don't. But Eddie had someone say to him one time the phrase you may have heard, cast a wide net. Don't always just think minimally. Think on a grander scale. And so always prepare for every competition as if it is the actual ultimate one.
What do you think in the USA system? I know I've competed in South Carolina for teen, and that 3-minute short time little round robin interview, it truly threw me off. They asked me the most oddball questions. I was ready for platform and, political. Never knew what they're going to ask you in South Carolina. But, what really makes or breaks that interview portion for the USA people, and how do you prepare your girls for that one?
Well, first of all, we are now in a panel style, so round robins have gone away. So
thank gosh.
Yeah, and then we work on that fact sheet. I mean, and you can get any question you want. What would you do with a piece of string? Kind of crazy stuff. But
yes.
So I think you kind of loading that fact sheet the way you want it to move can make a difference. Moving someone into an answer or into the next question makes a difference. We're not going to give away all the secrets, but I think that really, truly can be, a partnership. And then the other part of it is what we just talked about a second ago, is talking to as many people as possible. I mean, you're prepping yourself, Casey. So when you're doing that, you've got to talk to as many people as possible and get as many opinions as possible to try to get that to happen.
And, to quote a famous person, Maya Angelou, people are not going to remember everything you say. They're not going to remember everything that you do, but they're always going to remember how you make them feel. And we try to explain that to our young ladies, that you've got to make them comfortable, because judges get nervous too. They're afraid they're going to ask you the wrong question, they're going to embarrass themselves or whatever. So once they realize that this is not a I gotcha kind of game, you've got to go in there, take control, and make them want to fall in love with you and make them happy and comfortable. And that's all it's about. It is not an IQ test. It is not a fact test, a trivia game. It is a personal relationship. And we all want people in our lives who make us feel calm and happy and laugh. And that's what it is. Just be yourself and really, really make that personal connection.
What do you guys really think it means to be a part of the GC family as a girl coming into it that may never competed for and that may happen to win at one of your pageants? You know, what does it mean to be a GC girl?
We heard this once, and I'll mention this person's name because I think it's extremely important to share this. When Kirby Self won South Carolina Team USA, she was upstate, and she ended up in like an auxiliary dressing room, not an overflow necessarily, but she was in a dressing room with a young lady that was from another area of the state that didn't know her or us. And we didn't know, we had no idea of what was happening. The young lady ended up competing with us the next year. And she said, the reason I'm here is because of Kirby Self. And she said, I sat in a dressing room with her, you know, knowing who she was, knowing her success stories, knowing what she had done. And she said, she basically prepped me for a pageant in like 48 hours. And she just thought that that's what it was. And so
kind to her.
She was absolutely kind and just making sure she had all the resources she needed in that period. But so, you know, we use the term, and you've seen the hashtag of winners work harder, but that work doesn't have to be always in front of the judges. And so that meant so much to us that when she came back and she said, I came back because of Kirby. And that meant a lot. And so for us, that's what a GC girl's about. It's not getting in that lineup or standing there all the time. Yeah, we want to see that happen, but it's not always that. I mean, it's hard for me to say.
We always say, you be the nicest girl in the room, and you mean it. You truly mean it. And if you are, it will all work out fine. As long as you're the night, and Eddie's exactly right. I remember that situation when the young lady's mother contacted us and said, because this young lady was so nice, she was nicer than anyone, and we want to be a part of your program next year. We want to compete with people like that. And one of the first things that we say, I mean, we're not perfect. We all have a temper. We all lose it. We all do bad things. But one thing that we say in our orientation with all of our judges is we don't do mean. We do not do mean girls. And that's just not going to happen. You're going to have to be kind and mean it.
What do you think makes your pageant so successful?
I feel like one of the things we have done is I think our branding has changed a little bit, Casey. And, you know, this year when we decided to move into North Carolina, we just felt like there was a market for it, right? And so that made a huge difference. And I feel like people know who we are. People see the level of just production even. I mean, and by no means are we Miss Universe, but I think that they see that. And then they want, it's kind of like a family reunion. You know, when you come to GC, you're going to see everybody you know. And so I think that's a big part of it. And I think that makes a big difference. And I think that people feel comfortable there. People want to see an amazing competition. I know they're going to see a fair competition. And so when that happens, we get those young ladies. I mean, we have far exceeded our goals for North Carolina, and it's going to be crazy in a couple of weeks.
We really, truly, to answer your question again, more specifically, recruitment is a huge part of being successful, and recruiting the best, recruiting as many people as you can so that they compete, and they compete hard. And the cream rises to the top. So you recruit great girls. You let the judges decide who those winners are on any given day or night. And Eddie does a superb job of communication. And I think that's a big part of our success as well. We do group texts. We try to connect with them, not only with us, but we try to get them to connect with each other. So like you said, it's like a family reunion. I think that those great girls that we get and the ones that win and they have a great experience, then they go to state and they talk about, oh, I really enjoyed being a GC girl because it's a relationship, it's a family, and I think that brings more people into the family. So there are a lot of factors.
Well, with you guys having a pageant coming up right around the corner, I want you to give the listeners a little bit of an insight of, what it's like to actually compete at a GC pageant.
So this year we've expanded our weekend. We were kind of a one-day competition, Casey, where you would come in and compete and interview in the morning and on stage in the afternoon. And we felt like we wanted to bring more people to our area. We love the Golden Corner. A lot of people don't realize what GC stands for, but it truly is Golden Corner. It's the northwest corner of South Carolina. And so we wanted them to see more of that. Thank goodness we've already planned ahead, because we have added, a rehearsal on Saturday. We've added some registration time, a little bit more bonding, if you will, and that will all take place on Saturday. Sunday morning we have a shotgun start with interviews, and we've moved our time back. I don't know if you guys have seen or not, but we moved our time back to 4:30 on Sunday afternoon just to make sure we have all of that. So there's a huge production involved in it, and we've got to figure out how to get 47 people on a stage. And so we have a couple of days to work through that and bring those people into the Golden Corner and really spend some time with those young women.
And that's one thing a lot of people don't understand our titles. Like Eddie referred to the Golden Corner. It's called Golden because it's just a golden place to live. There are beautiful lakes and mountains and tourist things to do. We have a great new sponsor this year, the new Fairfield Inn in Seneca, which is on Lake Kiowee. That's our host hotel. We want young ladies and their families to see that. We have great schools in Oconee County. We have a great relationship with the administration at our particular venue. Which is where I actually worked at some point in my career. We have so many sponsors, dress shops, pageant coaches, fitness coaches, other vendors and businesses that support us. And I think that too is something we want them to see, and that is a benefit of being a GC girl, to understand what does Golden Corner mean? What does Miss Mountain Lakes mean? What are some of those meanings in your area? And once they see it, I think it gives them some ownership.
Do you think over time you guys will add more prelim titles for the South Carolina and North Carolina groups, or do you think you're good with your 6 and 3 number you got going on now?
Let's take a deep breath on that one, Casey.
I'm really wanting to hear what you're going to say, because just take a deep breath. I really believe that. We're extremely comfortable. We added Sea Islands last year in South Carolina, so we're super happy with the way that turned out. We love that brand name, and I think we're really good in North Carolina. This is not our full-time job, so both of us are professionals, and so that makes a huge difference. So I think we're just gonna take a deep breath and just see how it goes, and make sure that we feel really comfortable in preparing 18 women for state competitions. Yes, it is a full-time, part-time job. I would say right now we're very comfortable. We are always entertaining the idea of growing, of course, but in order to do that, I think Eddie would agree, we would have to increase staff, and we have an amazing staff. We have lots of very loyal people who help us, that have been with us from the beginning in 1996 when we first started Miss Golden Corner. We weren't the first Miss Golden Corner. There was a team of ladies in Oconee County who formed Miss Golden Corner in the America system. And my cousin won that prelim, and that's what got me interested. And we started working with them, and then we branched off into the USA system. But those people, Amanda Powell and Margaret Powell, I'll give them a shout out, and my cousin Marcy Bramlett-Cook, those people have stuck beside us and help us all the time. And there's no way that we can do it without them and many others. And if we were to grow, we would have to probably expand that and ask for a little more assistance for sure.
What are you most excited for with now breaking into North Carolina's state pageant for the USA system?
Their reputation. North Carolina has some killer girls and women. Of course, Morgan Romano, the current Miss USA, was North Carolina USA and from South Carolina originally. And so this area is just so powerful and exciting. So those North Carolina girls are on top of it. And we have even found that out in our paperwork deadlines and everything. They're serious. And so we love working with those kind of very professional, intense people who really want to win and do well.
It's exciting, definitely.
That's what when you had told me this was a few months ago now, I guess in January that was coming, I was super excited for y'all because I know this is just such a great experience, especially breaking into North Carolina. There are a bunch of good girls just hanging out, waiting for their GC moment, and I'm glad that they can finally have it because you guys are getting the best of the best with the new girls coming from North Carolina for sure.
And, you know, of course, RPM, Paula Miles and her son Ryan and their entire staff, they are as classy as you can get, and they run great programs in South and North Carolina and Alabama and Louisiana. So we're excited to be a part of them and to grow with them. And they have supported us, and we enjoy supporting them. And I'm excited about the possibilities. Definitely.
That is amazing. And I want to ask, with Kirby being one of the GC girls this past year, what are y'all most excited for going to Miss USA this year?
I'll kind of jump on that, and I want to add Kinley to that as well.
Yes, and Kinley.
Yep. Yes, Kinley and I were talking today. I mean, seriously, Greg talked about communication. I hate to even say this, but I'm probably the great communicator. I mean, I talk to those girls still. I talked to Kinley this morning. Kirby and I text nearly daily. So, and if it's not just preparation, Casey, it's like, hey, what's going on? Tell me how it's going. I saw these great photos and this awesome appearance. So, we're excited about what they're doing in preparation for the national level. And, you do have to amp it up. And I think both of them are really taking it to the next level for, a national competition.
They are very high achieving young ladies, and they're serious about competition. We have enjoyed meeting their families. It's just so exciting. And to answer your question in general, just to know them so personally and to watch them on a national level, that is just the best part, is to see their dreams coming to fruition. I mean, that's so exciting when you know someone personally. It's like, I don't enjoy watching a lot of sports unless I know someone competing
in that sport.
right. So it's exciting.
That is super exciting. And I do wish them best at Miss USA and Miss Teen USA this year. Who knows when they'll release the dates? They may have already told the girls. And, I just really hope that they go out there and just kill it. I feel like South Carolina, North Carolina, Louisiana, Alabama is like a mini nationals for everyone. If you're from the South, you know it. And it's intense. Like, I competed in teen the year that Marley Stokes won when she was South Carolina Teen USA. So that was just an experience to be able to watch. I've seen Marley as I grew up in pageants in South Carolina, to be able to watch what she's done, to be Miss South Carolina USA, to go to Miss USA. It's amazing just to sit back and I'm like, I'm good not winning, just to be able to be around them and soak up the information. And they just ooze all sorts of good things in pageantry. And I'm just really glad that a lot of it does come from the teachings that you guys have taught them over the years, and the coaching and the friendships. And I'm just really glad to see, what amazing work that you guys put into these girls and how it comes off on the stage and off the stage.
It is mutually beneficial, and people don't understand that. We get just as much from those families and those young ladies as they do from us. And just like you said, you were inspired by watching Marley or so. Don't ever doubt for 1 minute, Casey, that someone's not watching you and getting inspired by you. And that's what every young lady needs to remember. You are being watched, we all are, by somebody. And you have that same opportunity. You're a beautiful young lady, and you're obviously a winner in life. And I think if young women believe that and keep it in their head when they're in public and when they're talking to other people, I think just like what you said, I think those magical things and inspirations will happen.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Okay, so we just had some church.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. I think some people needed to definitely hear that one.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, we've come to that point in the podcast where I like to ask everyone the same final question, and I'll let each of you answer it individually. So, in what way has pageants positively impacted you?
You want to go first?
Oh, wow. Okay. There's too many to mention. But one time Eddie said to me, I was getting really intense about a pageant. Imagine that. And he's usually the one who's very intense. And he looked at me and he was like, Greg, life's more than a pageant. And I said, yeah, it is, but that's how we met. It's through a pageant. So you can never downplay anything in your life, whether it's school or academics or talent or sports or whatever. You're always there for a purpose, and I think it's what you make it. And so pageants to me came into my life at a time when I was going through a lot of personal loss and a lot of personal change. And the committees and the young ladies we work with became my family and my support system without ever even knowing it. And so that's what it means to me. It is a support system and a family and people working together for the same goal. And that's always exciting. And you're never going to come out a loser if you're doing that together.
I'm just going to echo that really quickly, is that I made a call this morning to someone for a backstage help that we needed. And she listed 7 people that was coming with her and that were coming with her. And I said, okay, well, that's amazing. Because I mean, that's the kind of people, and that's what pageants mean, is just, it's a community, Casey. I mean, and you know that. I mean, you're about to go to a large competition and you're going to get there. You're going to know people. They're going to know you. And it becomes a part of a community where I think it makes a huge difference, whether it's platform based or, there's a special cause involved or anything else. I think it really is about the people. I mean, we love to win. It is so much fun. Dang, it's fun to win. But it's about
the journey.
people.
It is the journey. It is tailgating in NFL. It is NASCAR. It is all those things that put people together for a common purpose.
It truly is. And I love that when people describe pageantry as a sport, because it is that. We prepare like everyone else. We have to have the right shoes like everyone else. We have to have the right equipment to be able to go out and really do our best in anything, whether it be interview, an appearance, on stage. That is something that you have to prepare for. And if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get that amazing result that you're looking for.
And there is nothing less than about poise and beauty and personality than there is with athletics or intelligence or the arts or whatever. They're all gifts that we're given. It's all about how you use it. Either you have a great look, you have a great talent, you have a great athletic ability, you're very smart. It doesn't matter. As long as you're using those things for good, one is not really better or less than the other. And that's why we're very proud to be part of the USA system.
That is amazing. And before we log off, I want you guys to tell all the listeners, if they want to be a part of the GC pageant group or compete with you guys, what is a good way to get in contact with you and your Instagram handles as well?
Perfect. Well, obviously Instagram is on the screen. You guys can see it's gc_pageants.com. Our website is just gcpageants.com. There's a contact us there that you can do that. I personally respond to all of our social media. Greg responds to the web-based programs. So, get in touch with us. I mean,
email gcpageantsllc@gmail.com. That's the best way. We'll call you. We'll give you our phone number. You call us. That's what we enjoy. We enjoy talking, as you can tell, and we want to get to know these outstanding ladies who are interested.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, guys, for being on today's episode. I hope everyone got a little bit of something out of this, because I know I surely did. And you never know what happens in the future. So I guess you'll have to check out next week on another episode of The Crowning Moment. Bye, guys.
Yeah.